She stood there, radiant in her white dress, and spat in my face. Not literally, but it felt like it. My stepdaughter, Ellie, walked past me at her wedding, arm in arm with her deadbeat dad, Todd, like I was invisible. I'd raised her for 12 years, paid for everything, loved her like my own, and she erased me. In front of 200 guests. Savage, right? I'm Lucas, 48, a contractor from Boise, Idaho. If you'd told me a decade ago that the girl who clung to me during thunderstorms would publicly humiliate me, I'd have scoffed. Family's a cruel game. You pour your soul into it, and they still demand more. Ellie was 10 when I met her mom, Sarah. Her dad, Todd, was a ghost, showing up once a year, with a cheap toy, then vanishing. Sarah's divorce was a mess. Mine was cleaner. I wasn't trying to be Ellie's hero, just her rock. I was there for her science fairs, her broken arm, her first crush. I showed up, always. Ellie called me Dad at 13 after I stayed up, all night building her a treehouse. It wasn't forced. It just happened. Sarah smiled, her eyes misty. I paid for her braces, bought her a beat-up Toyota when she turned 16. I drove 14 hours to move her into her dorm at Boise State. Every birthday, every rainy day she forgot her jacket, I was there, not for glory, for love. But at 19, things shifted. Ellie got distant. Her calls were cold, like she was checking a box. Todd reappeared, posting old photos on Instagram, calling her my princess. Convenient timing, huh? He'd ditched her for years, but now he was changed. Ellie ate it up, desperate for his approval. I felt like a stand-in fading into the background. When she got engaged, I was thrilled. Sarah and I sat on our couch watching Ellie flash her ring. I'm so happy, I said, hugging her. But her smile was off. I want both my parents to walk me down the aisle, she said. Sarah froze. You mean Lucas and Todd? She asked. Ellie's eyes flicked away. No, Mom. My real dad. My stomach dropped. Real dad? I taught her to drive. Held her when she cried over boys. Not me? I swallowed it, told myself it was her day. But the signs piled up. She started calling me Lucas in public, like I was her landlord. She dropped my last name from her profiles, reverting to Todd's. She didn't ask me to give a speech. When I offered to chip in for the wedding, she nodded, then handed me a $15,000 bill for the venue. No thank you. Just expectation. I paid it. For Sarah. For family. The week before. The wedding. I overheard Sarah and Ellie in the kitchen. I'd come home early, toolbox in hand. Lucas paid for everything, Sarah said sharp. You can't act like he's nothing. Ellie laughed, cold. That's his choice, Mom. Nobody made him. Sarah pushed. You used to call him Dad, Ellie snapped. That was before I had my real dad back. I slipped out, heart pounding. I drove until dawn, the betrayal burning. I still showed up to the wedding, set up tables, checked the DJ's setup, wore my best suit. Ellie barely looked at me. Todd strolled in late, reeking of cheap cologne, and Ellie threw herself at him, like he'd just won Father of the Year. I stood there, invisible, funding a party where I didn't belong. The ceremony hit like a sledgehammer. Ellie glided down the aisle, arm looped through Todd's, her smile dazzling for him alone. Me? I sat in the second row next to Sarah, my tie choking me. The officiant asked, Who gives this bride? Todd boomed, I do! Ellie beamed. Not a glance my way. 12 years erased. How's that for gratitude? I'm Lucas, the guy who built her treehouse, paid her tuition, wiped her tears. Now? A ghost at her wedding. The reception was a gut punch. Ellie and Todd took the floor for the father-daughter. Dance, swaying to some sappy tune. She laughed, her eyes sparkling. For him. I clapped, hands numb, while guests whispered, Such a sweet moment. Sweet? I'd shelled out $22,000 for this circus. Sarah squeezed my arm, her face tight. She'll come around, she whispered. Will she? I kept it together, shaking hands, toasting the couple. But inside, rage simmered, irony stung. I'd been her dad when Todd was off chasing bar tabs, yet here he was, stealing the spotlight. Then Ellie's speech. She thanked her mom, her in-laws, and my amazing dad, Todd, who came back when I needed him most. My name? Nowhere. I was air. Invisible. A wallet with a pulse. After the cake, Ellie sauntered over, all smug glow, and handed me a napkin. Not a napkin, a scribbled bill for $8,000. Final balance, she chirped like I was her accountant. Can you cover it before we leave for the honeymoon? My jaw clenched. 8 grand? For what? The DJ I'd already paid? The flowers I'd wired money for? She'd double-billed me, expected me to nod, smile, pay. Again, I didn't. I folded the napkin, looked her dead in the eyes, and walked away. Down the venue stairs, past the twinkling lights, into the Boise night. No words, just silence. My silence was louder than her betrayal. I drove home, heart pounding, anger and hurt colliding. Why did I keep giving? Why did I think she'd see me? At home, I poured a whiskey, hands shaking. Sarah came in late, eyes red. "Lucas, talk to me," she pleaded. I couldn't. "Not now," I said, voice low. I stared at the ceiling, replaying every moment I'd been there for Ellie. The late-night ER runs, the college essays, the time. I sold my old truck to cover her summer camp. All for this? A napkin with a number? The next morning, my phone lit up. Texts from Sarah. "Ellie's upset. Why'd you leave?" A voicemail from Ellie. "Lucas, that was dramatic. Can we talk?" Even Todd chimed in, his voice dripping with fake concern. "Man, don't take it personal. She's just emotional." Emotional? She'd planned this. I ignored them all, pulled out my laptop, and opened the wedding budget. 30 grand. My savings. Gone. For a day that spit in my face. Then I found it. An email from the venue, sent weeks ago, confirming my payment. For the final balance. Ellie's napkin was a lie. She'd scammed me, banking on my loyalty. My blood boiled. Who does that? I called the venue, disputed the duplicate charges, and froze the joint account I'd set up with Sarah for wedding costs. No more Mr. Doormat. Sarah called, frantic. "Ellie says you're abandoning her." Abandoning her? I laughed, bitter. "She abandoned me first." I sent Ellie one text. "I'm done covering your wedding. Talk to Todd. Good luck." Then I turned off my phone. The quiet felt good. Too good. But something told me this wasn't over. Ellie wasn't one to let go easily. What was she plotting now? I thought silence would end it. Wrong. Ellie's next move was a gut punch. 3 days after the wedding, my phone buzzed with a group chat notification. Ellie had added me, Sarah, and, get this, Todd. Her message? A 500-word essay blaming me for ruining her big day. Me, the guy who paid for her dream wedding. How's that for a plot twist? I'm Lucas, the Boise contractor who thought he was a dad. Now, I'm the villain in Ellie's story. Her message ranted about my petty walkout, how I embarrassed her by not paying the fake $8,000 bill. She claimed I'd betrayed her by freezing the account. Todd chimed in. "Man up, Lucas. Be the bigger person." Sarah stayed, silent, but I could feel her torn. Betrayed? I'd spent $30,000 to make her day perfect. I didn't reply. Instead, I dug deeper, pulled every receipt, every email. The venue confirmed it. I'd paid everything. Ellie's napkin bill was a scam, cooked up to squeeze me for more. Why? To fund her honeymoon, maybe? Or to flex for Todd? I called my accountant, Mike, and laid it out. "She's playing you," he said. "Cut her off." So I did. Permanently. I sent a certified letter to Ellie and Todd. "All wedding debts are yours. Receipts attached. Don't contact me." I copied Sarah, who called me that night, voice shaking. "Lucas, she's furious. Says you're disowning her." Disowning her? She disowned me first. I told Sarah, "I'm done being her ATM." She cried, but didn't argue. She knew Ellie's game. Then, the real bomb dropped. My buddy, Jake, a caterer at the wedding, texted me, "Check Ellie's Instagram." I did. There she was, posting honeymoon photos from Hawaii, captioned, "Thanks to my real dad for making this happen." Todd? The guy who couldn't pay child support? I laughed, bitter. Jake called. "Lucas, she bragged to the staff that Todd paid for the trip. But I saw your Venmo for the travel agency." My blood ran cold. She'd used my money and credited him? I confronted Sarah. "Did you know?" She swore she didn't, but her voice wavered. "Ellie said Todd stepped up," she mumbled. Stepped up? I'd wired $5,000 for their flights. I pulled the bank statement, showed her the proof. Sarah's face crumpled. "I thought she'd changed," she whispered. Changed? Ellie was playing us all, and Todd was her prop. I wasn't just angry, I was done. I called my lawyer, had him draft a document removing Ellie as a beneficiary from my will. I donated $10,000 to a local youth shelter, kids who'd never pull. This crap. Then I texted Ellie one last time. Enjoy Hawaii. Tell Todd to cover the next bill. No response. Good. But the quiet felt eerie, like a storm brewing. A week later, Sarah showed up at my condo, eyes puffy. Ellie's back. She wants to see you. My gut twisted. Why now? She's sorry, Sarah said. Sorry? After scamming. Me? After parading Todd? I didn't buy it. But Sarah begged, just hear her out. I agreed. Not for Ellie, but for the 12 years I'd loved her. What was her angle this time? I didn't want to see her. But there I was, opening my condo door, heart pounding like a jackhammer. Ellie stood there, no wedding glow, no smug grin, just red eyes and a trembling lip. Was this an act? I'd fallen for her tears before. Lucas, she started, voice soft. I held up a hand. Don't. Sit. Talk. This wasn't her stage anymore. I'm Lucas, the Boise contractor who thought he was a dad, only to be erased at Ellie's wedding. Now she was here, in my living room, clutching a manila folder like it was a lifeline. Sarah hovered in the doorway, eyes darting between us. I messed up, Ellie said, voice cracking. Messed up? She'd scammed me for thousands, paraded Todd as her hero, and blamed me for her ruined day. I leaned back, arms crossed. Keep talking. She slid the folder across the coffee table. I went through everything. Every receipt, every payment. You paid $32,000 for my wedding. I lied about the $8,000. It was already covered. Her voice shook, but her eyes met mine. I was stupid. I thought Todd would step up. If I gave him the spotlight? Step up? The guy who missed her entire childhood? I scoffed. And Hawaii? My money? His credit? Ellie flinched, cheeks flushing. I didn't know you paid for the flights until yesterday. Todd said he covered it. Classic Todd, taking credit for my cash. I wanted to scream, but I stayed cold. You posted about him like he's father of the year. Why? She looked down, twisting her ring. I wanted a dad who wanted me, not one I had to beg. Beg? I'd been there every day. Sarah stepped in, voice sharp. Ellie, you begged Lucas for everything. He never said no. Ellie's eyes welled up. I know. Mom, but Todd was new, exciting. I got caught up. Caught up? She'd erased 12 years of my love for a con man's cameo. I stood, pacing. You handed me a fake bill, Ellie. You used me, then blamed me. What's this folder? Another trick? No, she cried, pushing it toward me. It's a repayment plan. $32,000 plus interest over 5 years. I got a second job. I'll sign it now. I opened the folder. Numbers lined up. Vendor receipts, bank transfers, even the damn monogram napkins. $600. It was legit. She'd called every vendor, tracked every cent. Why now? I asked, voice low. Guilt? Or did Todd bail again? She swallowed hard. Both. He ghosted me after the honeymoon, said he's not good with money talk. Typical. I almost laughed, but the hurt was too raw. You chose him over me, I said, in front of everyone. Her tears fell now. Real ones. I know. I saw you at the wedding, setting up chairs, fixing the sound system. And I walked past you. I'll never forgive myself. Sarah's eyes were wet too. Lucas, she's trying. Trying. After all this, I wanted to believe it, but my heart was a locked door. You don't get to cry your way out, I said. You made me feel like nothing. Ellie nodded, wiping her face. I know. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just a chance to make it right. With actions, not words. I sat, staring at the folder. It wasn't about the money. Never was. It was about respect. She'd trampled mine, and now she was scrambling to fix it. Why? To save face? To ease her conscience? Or was this real? I'll think about it, I said, voice flat. Leave the folder, go. Ellie stood, defeated, and Sarah followed her out. The door clicked shut and the silence screamed. I opened the folder again. Her plan was solid. Monthly payments, a notarized agreement. She'd even included a clause. Miss 3 payments, and the debts due in full. Smart. But could I trust her? My phone buzzed. A text from Jake. Heard Ellie's working nights at a diner. She's serious. Serious? Maybe. But I wasn't ready to let her back in. Not yet. I thought Ellie's folder was her last play. Wrong. A week later, my phone pinged with a voicemail from Todd. Lucas, we need to talk. Man to man. Meet me at Rusty's bar, 7 p.m. Todd? The deadbeat who stole my spotlight? My gut screamed trap, but curiosity won. What did this sleaze want now? I grabbed my keys, ready for a fight. I'm Lucas, the Boise contractor who raised Ellie for 12 years only to be erased at her wedding. Now, Todd was calling me out. Rusty's was a dive. Sticky floors, neon signs, the kind of place Todd fit. Like a glove. I walked in, spotted him at the bar, nursing a beer. He looked older, haggard, his charm faded. "Lucas," he said, smirking. "Thanks for coming." I didn't sit. "Talk." He leaned in, voice low. "Ellie's in trouble. Big trouble." My heart skipped. "Trouble? What kind?" I snapped. He sipped his beer, dragging it out. "She took out a loan for the wedding. $15,000. Shady lender. They're threatening her." My blood ran cold. Ellie? Borrowing from loan sharks? "Why are you telling me?" I asked. His smirk widened. "Because you're her real dad. She needs you." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "Real dad? Now he says it? After stealing her at the altar?" "You're joking," I said. "You took credit for my money, let her scam me, and now you're begging?" Todd's eyes narrowed. "She's my kid, Lucas, but I can't fix this. You always do." My fists clenched. He wasn't just a deadbeat. He was a coward dumping his mess on me. I stormed out, head spinning. Was this real or another con? I called Jake, my caterer buddy. "Heard anything about Ellie and loans?" Jake paused. "Yeah, rumors at the diner. She's been jumpy, looking over her shoulder. Some guy in a suit was asking for her last week." My stomach dropped. "Ellie? What did you do?" I drove to her apartment, uninvited, pounding on the door. She opened it, pale, eyes wide. "Lucas, why?" I cut her off. "Loan sharks? Seriously, Ellie?" Her face crumpled and she sank onto the couch. "I didn't want you to know," she whispered. "After the wedding, Todd said he'd help pay the vendors. He lied. I borrowed to cover it, thinking I could handle it." "Handle it?" She was 23, drowning in debt to thugs. "Why didn't you tell me?" I yelled. She flinched. "Because I screwed you over. I couldn't ask for more." Tears streamed down her face, but I was too angry to soften. "You chose Todd. You lied about the bills, and now this?" She sobbed. "I know." I thought he'd changed, but he bailed again. "I'm so sorry, Lucas." Sorry? That word was worthless now. Then the twist hit. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Pay Ellie's debt or she's done. $20,000 by Friday. No cops." My hands shook. This was real. Loan sharks didn't bluff. I looked at Ellie, curled up, terrified. My anger cracked, replaced by something heavier. Fear. Not for me, for her. "Who are these people?" I demanded. She shook her head. "I don't know. Todd set it up." Todd. Of course. I called him. Voice ice cold. "You got Ellie into this mess?" he stammered. "I just gave her a contact." "I didn't know." "Didn't know?" I hung up, fury boiling. I turned to Ellie. "Pack a bag. You're staying with me until this is over." She nodded, trembling. I wasn't her dad anymore, not fully, but I couldn't let her drown. I called Mike, my accountant, and laid it out. "Can we trace this lender?" He sighed. "Maybe, but it's risky. These guys don't play nice." Risky? My whole life with Ellie was risk. Loving her, losing her, and now this. I looked at her, scared and small. "We'll fix it," I said, not sure I believed it. But I was done running. Time to fight. I wasn't ready for war, but war found me. Ellie's loan shark mess wasn't just her mistake. It was Todd's setup, and I was done playing the fool. My condo became a fortress, Ellie crashing on my couch, jumping at every noise. A text from, "The lender burned my screen. $20,000, Thursday, or she pays in blood." My heart raced. Blood? Over my dead body. I'm Lucas, 48, the Boise contractor who raised Ellie for 12 years, only to be erased at her wedding. Now she was a scared kid again, and I was her shield. But Todd? That snake was the key. I called Mike, my accountant, voice steady. "Dig into Todd's finances, now." Mike hesitated. "Lucas, this is dangerous." Dangerous? I'd built houses in blizzards. I could handle a deadbeat. Mike came through 24 hours later. "Todd's been skimming money for years. Small cons, shady loans. He's linked to a guy named Vince Russo, runs a loan ring in Boise." Russo? The name hit like a brick. Ellie overheard, eyes wide. "Todd mentioned a Vince once," she whispered. "Said he'd fix things." Fix things? He'd thrown her to wolves. I didn't call the cops. Too risky. Instead, I tracked Todd to his favorite dive, Rusty's bar. I walked in, jaw tight, spotting him laughing with some lowlife. "Todd," I growled, grabbing his collar. The bar went quiet. "You set Ellie up with Russo?" His eyes darted, sweat beading. "I didn't know he'd—" I slammed him against the wall. "Liar! You used her!" He spilled like cheap whiskey. "Russo offered me a cut to bring in a borrower. I thought Ellie could handle it." Handle it? She was 23. I dragged him. Outside, my fist itching. "You're fixing this," I said. "Call Russo. Set a meet." Todd nodded, shaking. I wasn't just saving Ellie. I was ending this parasite's game. The meet was set, an empty lot near the Boise River, midnight. I told Ellie to stay put, but she begged, "Let me help, Lucas. I owe you." Owe me. She'd broken my heart, but those scared eyes pulled me back. "Fine," I said. "But you follow my lead." We drove in silence, my truck's engine humming with my rage. Russo was there. Big guy, slick suit, flanked by two goons. Todd stood beside him, looking like a trapped rat. "You Lucas?" Russo sneered. "Got my money?" I tossed a duffel bag, $5,000, all I could scrape together. "That's a start," I said. "Let Ellie go." Russo laughed. "She owes 20 grand. This ain't a negotiation." Ellie stepped forward, voice shaking but firm. "I'm paying. Eye it back. I've got a job, a plan." Russo's eyes narrowed. "Cute, but I don't trust plans." My blood boiled. Then Todd, pathetic, sniveling Todd, spoke up. "Vince, I'll cover it. Just give me time." Time? He had nothing. I saw my chance. "You trust this loser?" I asked Russo, pointing at Todd. "He's been conning you too. Check his bank records." Russo's goons grabbed Todd, who squirmed, babbling excuses. I'd slipped Mike's report into the duffel, proof of Todd's scams, his fake accounts. Russo's face darkened. "You played me, Todd?" he growled. The goons dragged him away, Todd screaming, "Lucas, you set me up!" Ellie gasped. I grabbed her arm, pulling her to the truck. "Go!" I yelled. We peeled out, tires screeching, as Russo's shouts faded. Back at my condo, Ellie collapsed, sobbing. "You saved me," she said. "Saved her? I'd saved myself too." "No more lies," I said. "You're done with Todd." She nodded, tears falling. "I choose you, Lucas. Always should've." The next morning, I called Sarah. "Ellie's safe. Todd's gone." She cried, relieved, but I wasn't ready to fix us yet. I looked at Ellie packing her bag. "You're not off the hook," I said. "Repay the debt. Earn my trust." She hugged me tight, like the kid who loved my treehouse. "I will, Dad," she whispered. Dad. That word hit harder than any fist. Weeks later, Ellie started her payments. $200 a month, clockwork. She worked doubles at the diner, no complaints. Sarah and I talked, slow, honest, rebuilding what we'd lost. Then a bombshell. Ellie was pregnant. She asked, nervous, "Will you be grandpa?" My heart swelled. "Yeah," I said, grinning. "I've got stories for that kid." Her smile was real, no filters. Todd? Vanished. Word was Russo handled him. I didn't care. I wasn't the doormat anymore. I was Lucas. Dad, fighter, free. I didn't just walk away from Ellie's betrayal. I burned the bridge and built a new one. And when that baby arrives, I'll be there, not for applause, but because I'm finally seen. That's my revenge, living a life too big to ignore. And here it is, the finale of today's story. Did everything turn out as you imagined, or did it end unexpectedly? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the discussion together. If this story kept you in suspense, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join an incredible community where exciting new stories unfold every day. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Thanks for your attention and see you on your new adventures.